The Boy and the Heron is the new Studio Ghibli movie that just released in theaters, which I can't believe I'm saying that sentence right. I grew up watching some of these in theaters. I believe I saw Ponyo in theaters. I saw Secret World Ariete in theaters before I even knew what Studio Ghibli was. And I've seen some re-releases of some other ones. I haven't seen all their films. I definitely need to. Trust me, it's a goal of mine. I want to own all of them. I want to see all of them. It's a goal of mine. Has not happened yet. Unfortunately, I'm waiting for that chance to do all that. It's going to take a while, but I plan to at some point. I do enjoy quite a bit of them, and I'll make some comparisons to some of them in this video. If you want to know how I saw this film, because I know some people are probably curious, did I see the subtitled version or the English dub? I saw the English dub just because I love Studio Ghibli, but I discovered them through the English dubs. Their English dubs are always incredible. Yeah, some people are going to be purists and want to see in Japanese. I don't really give a shit. Anime is not always on my wavelength. And so, yeah, I was very excited about this movie. The movie, looked fucking gorgeous through the previews. The voice cast of this movie was great. I've heard nothing but great things about this movie. And Hayao Miyazaki does not disappoint majority of times. There's a couple of his films that are less than stellar, I would say. I'm not a big fan of The Wind Rises, for example. Not a great film. He has some other ones that I do really like, though. So I sat down, I watched it, and what did I think? Let's get into this movie. I think my biggest thing about this movie is it's a spiritual successor to Spirited Away. This film is probably better animated than that, but that's only because technology has come so much better, and a lot of these people are masters of their craft. But other than that, I do not think this is better than Spirited Away in any way. But I do think this is a successor to Spirited Away. Because a lot of his other films, they deal with fantasy settings. They deal with fantasy creatures. But they're not quite like this movie where it literally is about another child character being washed away into a completely different world and having to navigate it. And there's a lot of slow sequences where sitting with the world, seeing its beauty. None of it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of different interpretations and metaphors. You can read into it very much like Alice in Wonderland or Wizard of Oz, I could say. And so this film's very much like that. Like I said, it's not as great as Spirited Away, but I do think it has a lot of those qualities that you do love about those films. I think this film was very well paced and atmospheric and beautiful. It's not perfect. I don't think this is one of their best. I don't know. I felt like the main character was a little hard to connect with, and some of the events were a little bit harder to connect with. That's why I think Spirited Away succeeds a lot more. You're kind of just thrown into this scenario with this kid whose mom dies during a war, and now he's just in this world, and there's not a lot of context. I guess Spirited Away is kind of like that too, but Spirited Away gave us more of a likable protagonist that was more innocent, kind of thrown into this world, and you want to see more of her journey through it and how she. And also, I thought the fantasy creatures were a lot more interesting in Spirited Away. Also, I think the social commentary there is more clear than it is here. I mean, this has some, obviously anti-war themes and things like that, but there's some other stuff that wasn't as clear, and I think that did hurt this movie. But overall, I do think this is a technical masterpiece, animation-wise. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think that this is one of my favorites or one I'm going to revisit as often as I do some of my favorites like Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away. In fact, this movie, honestly, after I watched it, I was like, let me go watch Spirited Away again. And I need to go buy a copy pretty soon. But thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Go check out The Boy and the Heron.